Okay, so hi. Today we're going to be talking about practice test 1 from SAT, and it's technically the third section, which is math, calculator, and active. These are some of the formulas they give you, but you should be familiar with all of these prior to the test, so you don't have to keep flipping back and forth. So let's get started. Also, this video may be longer than the allotted time for the section, and that's just because I'm going to be walking through it with you step by step. So right here, k equals 3, what is the value of x? So x minus 1 divided by 3 equals 3. So x minus 1 is equal to, 3 times 3 is 9, add the 1, x is equal to 10, and that is our answer. So here we actually don't need to know that I equals root of -1. It's important, but we're not multiplying anything, so it's not essential here. So 7 plus 3i minus 8 plus 9i, so we just combine like terms. So this gives us 12i, and this gives us -1, and that is a. So we're moving pretty quick here. So Armand sent M text messages for 5 hours. So Armand is equal to 5m. And then Tyrone sent P text messages for 4 hours. So Tyrone is equal to 4p. So the total numbers we're looking for a sum is 5m plus 4p. If it said product, then A or B would be contenders, but they're not. Number 4. Kathy is a repair technician for a phone company. Each week she receives a batch of phones that need repairs, and the number of phones that she has left to fix at the end of the day can be estimated with the equation P equals 108 minus 23D. So what is the value of 108? So as you can see, 108 is the y-intercept. And you should know that the y-intercept is always the initial value, so that is what we're going to look for. So which one of these indicates initial values? Kathy will complete the repairs within 100 days? No. Kathy starts each week with 100 phones fixed? Maybe. We're not talking about rate at all, so it has to be B. So which of the following is equivalent to the expression above? So we're just going to add all of our like terms. So we have x squared y minus 3y squared plus 5xy squared. So we're going to add this because it's a minus minus. So plus x squared y minus 3xy squared plus 3y squared. Make sure to look at the double negatives and pay attention to sign. So we have 2xy squared, so that automatically eliminates a and b. So we have 2x squared y, and then we have minus 3y squared plus 3y squared. So we can cancel those out. We cancel these out. And we can have plus 2xy squared, which is c because we have 5 minus 3, and those are the like terms. Number 6, a pediatrician uses the model above to estimate the height of a boy in inches in terms of the boy's age A in years between the ages of 2 and 5. Based on the model, what is the estimated increase in inches of a boy's height each year? So when it says each year, we're looking at the rate. And h equals 3a plus 28.6. This is the initial. So it really has nothing to do with what we're looking for. This is the rate at which he grows each year. And a is the year you input. So it is going to be 3 because that is the rate. Number 7. So all these details that give us about the monthly payment, loan, dollar, they're kind of irrelevant in this case, as all we need to do is find P. So M equals R over 1200, little typo there, 1 plus R over 1200 to the n divided by 1 plus R over 1200 to the n minus 1p. So we're going to multiply this, side by that to get p. So m times 1 plus R over 1200 to the n minus 1 equals p times this, or equals p times. So p, we just have to divide both sides by this to get p isolated. So p equals m1 plus r over 1200 n minus 1 divided by r over 1200, 1 plus r over 1200 to the n, and that is what gives us b. Now we're breezing right past this. Okay, number 8. If a over b equals 2, what is the value of 4b over a? So this is pretty easy, as we can just get a equals 2b and substitute that in here. So we get 4b divided by 2b, and we can cancel out the like term. So 4 divided by 2 is equal to 2. And since these answers are all in numeric or integer values without a variable, you should know that you're gonna have to substitute. Okay, what is the solution x, y to the system of equations above? Okay, so what I see here is that this can be multiplied by 2 to give us 4y to cancel. So we're just going to multiply this by 2. So this gives me 3x plus 4y equals negative 23. And then this gives me 4y minus 2x equals negative 38. We're just going to subtract these. So we can cancel out the 4y. 3x minus 2x equals 5x equals, let's do a little math, negative 23 plus 38, that gives me 15. So x is going to be equal to 3. And since x is only equal to 3, is only in one of these solutions, we know it is correct. So for the function g defined above, a is a constant, g of 4 is equal to 8, so we need to find the value of g negative 4. So first we're going to plug this value in to find the value of a. So g of 4 is equal to 4 squared is 16a plus 24 equals 8. So 16a equals 8 minus 24, which is negative 16. So a is equal to negative 1. So essentially we have g of x is equal to negative x squared plus 24. So g of negative 4 is equal to negative 4 squared plus 24. So this is negative 4 squared is 16, but we're going to negativize it plus 24. So this is going to be equal to 8. Bam. Okay, in the equation of both B and C represent the price per pound in dollars of beef and chicken, respectively, X weeks after July 1st during last summer. What was the price per pound of beef, so this is beef, when it was equal to the price per pound of chicken last year? So we're going to set these equations equal to each other. So essentially we're going to find the value of X and plug it into B. Okay, so we're going to set them equal to each other. B is going to have to equal C because those are the prices. 2.35 plus 0.25x equals 1.75 plus 0.40x. So subtract the 1.75 minus 1.75. Do a little. Just going to do the math on this right here. 2.35 minus 1.75, 0. So that is 70 cents. So 0.70, and we're just going to subtract the 0.25x minus 0.25x equals 0.15x. So x is equal to 5, and we're going to plug that into B. So B is equal to 2.35 plus 0.25 times 5. So this is just equal to 2.35 plus 1.25, and that is equal to 2.60, which is A. Okay, so the line in the xy plane passes through the origin, so there's no y-intercept, and has slope of 1/7. So essentially the equation is y equals 1/7 x. So let's see which fits this. No. Does 7 equal 1/7 of 1? No. 1/7 of something never equals same unless it's 0. Let's check the last one. 2 equals 1/7 times 14. Yes. Breezing right past these. Okay, 13. Which of the following is equivalent? So we're going to have to find, or not find, but we're going to have to make this all common denominator on the bottom. So the common denominator is going to be x plus 2, x plus 3. And since we don't have that, we're going to have to multiply each on top. So this is just going to become x plus 3 plus x plus 2. So this is essentially going to give us 1 over, because this is all the denominator. So this is going to give us 1 over 2x plus 5 divided by x squared plus 5x plus 6. And since we know, since it's common fraction rules, we can just put this on the top, because look, this on the top, so become x squared plus 5x plus 6 divided by 2x plus 5, and this works because look, if you had 1 over 2 divided by 3, it would just become 3 divided by 2. Or if you had 1 over 1/4, it would just become 4. You would just bring the denominator of the fraction onto the top and become the numerator. So it would just become b. Okay, next. So the first thing you have to realize here is that they give you this equation and it's going to come into play, and 8 is equal to 2/3. So if we have 2/3 to be x over 2 to be y, then this just gives us 2 to 3x minus y equals 12. Not 12, sorry. That just gives us that. And since this is equal to 12, this just gives us 2 to the 12th. Okay. So we have a plus b equals 8. And we know a times b is equal to 15. And a plus b is equal to 8. Now, I only know one way that this works is if a is equal to 5 and b is equal to 3, or 8 is equal to 3 and b is equal to 5. So let's plug these values in here and see how this plays out to get our c values. So if we had 5x plus 2 and 3x plus 7, this would give us 15x squared plus 35x plus 6x plus 14. So this gives me 41x. And since that's only in one of the choices, we can easily pick D, but let's just check for sakes. So then we have 3x plus 2, 5x plus 7, so this gives us 15x squared plus 15, sorry, not 15, plus 21x plus 10x plus 14. Oh, making all sorts of writing errors today. So 21 plus 10 would equal 31, which is our other answer choice here, so this checks out. So now we are on to the open-ended portion. These are usually a little easier almost, I find, because there's only one answer, and they usually make it easier just because they know there's only one answer and you're pressed for time. Again, review these rules on your own time. Before the test, you should not be spending time looking at these rules. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 questions. Let's get started. So if t is greater than 0, that's important. So t squared is going to be equal to 4. So we can take the square root of that. T is equal plus or minus 2, but since it's Greater than 2, we only need the positive answer, so 2, and we're done. 17, a summer camp counselor wants to find the length x, which is this, across the lake as represented in the sketch above. The lengths represented AB, EB, BD, and CD on the sketch are determined to be, okay, so they give it to us respectively. Let's label them. So this is 1800, EB is 1400, BD is 700, and CD is 800. Okay, so segments AC and DE intersect at B. So this means the angle measurements are the same, so the proportions are also going to be the same. And AEB, so this angle, is congruent to that angle. Okay, so they have the same measure. So this means they all have the same proportions. So what is the value of x? So we saw right here that the angles are going to have, they're going to have the same proportions, and since 2 of these angles are the same measure and these angles are the same measure, it is possible to assume that these angles are the same measure, as all triangles equal 180 degrees. So we can see that the proportion is 1/2. So I can see here that the proportion will also be 1/2 to the same angle measures. So this will be 900, but we're not asking for BC, we're asking for F. So what is double of 800? This would be 1600. And you just have to know your triangle rules and proportions, because this was pretty easy. As we saw, the proportion was a 2 to 1. And since this was the 1 of the ratio, this was just going to be the 2, so we doubled it. Okay. According to the system of equations above, what is the value of x? So what I see here is that we can actually multiply this by 2 to subtract it and then find the value of x that way. So we're going to have x plus 2y equals -25, and we're going to multiply this by 2. So, one second. 2x plus 2y equals -18. X plus 2y equals -25, and we can just subtract this. 2x minus x equals x, which is perfect. The y's cancel out. So what is -18 plus 25, and that is equal to 7, because again, the minus, so x is equal to 7. So in a right triangle, one angle measures x where sine x equals 4/5, and what is cos 90 minus x? So this is just a formula you have to know. Sine A is equal to cos B. In a triangle, say this was, because it's a right triangle, so this is 90 degrees, obviously, so we don't need to know about that. And this was x, so this is obviously, this angle is going to be 90 minus x, because it has to equal 100. And say this was A, B, C. Sine A is going to have to equal cos B. It is just a trigonometry rule. So the answer is really easy here. Sine x is equal to cos 90 minus x, because B corresponds to 90 minus x and A corresponds to x as we've set it up here. So the answer is just going to be 4/5. Okay, on to our last question. Yay. So A is equal to 5√2, and 2A is equal to √2x. What is the value of x? Okay, so again, plug this in. So we have 2 times 5√2, so this just gives us 10√2 equals √2x. So we're just going to bring this over here. 10√2 equals √2x, and we're going to square both sides. So this gives us 10 squared is 100 times 2, because √2 squared is 2, and this gives us 2x. So we can, so this essentially gives us 200 equals 2x, divide this by 2, divide this by 2, x is going to be equal to 100. 100. And yeah, that's it. Again, I would just recommend reviewing a quick math formula worksheet. I'll be making a video on this later, but just review your math rules, have them set in stone, like these trig rules, the proportions, the sine A cos B, and use your intuition. The SAT is a brain game almost. It's not straightforward like the ACT. They really want you to look for patterns and just notice the small things to pick up on problems. Again, these problems should not be too hard. They just want you to recognize patterns like this basic rule. The SAT loves to take basic concepts and just twist them. Like they give you an equation here, but you have to recognize A equals 2/3 and plug it in there. Just things like that to keep in mind. And yeah, you'll be fine.